Can you smell that? Do you recognize the scent? I do. That's the scent of desperation. CBC Radio with Deanna Maria Tremonti from The Current. I mean, as per usual, because you all know it's all top down. The narrative comes from top, and the propaganda spew that propaganda, that narrative, mindlessly. They just regurgitate what they're told. All order followers, all servants of the state just regurgitate whatever their masters tell them to. And Anna Maria is right there, like usual, front and center, propagating that narrative. Headline to this particular one: after massive layoffs, how can Canadian journalism survive? As most of you probably realize and understand at this point in stage, the establishment media outlets, the propagandists, because they rely on central planning, force, and coercion as their business model, that forced collectivism where you have to, force by the threat of force or the barrel of a gun to make someone to pay for your service. Well, yeah, they're seeing that, it's going downhill nowadays because there's alternative media outlets. The internet has basically taken the power of the central planners, the opinion makers, the opinion formers, the propagandists. It's taken that power away from them, and what they're really doing is recognizing that reality. That's what's happening. They realize that shit, Canadians, Americans, British, any place around the world, damn it, we can't just give them our side of the story. We can't just promote our narrative because this damn internet thing that allows every human being on the planet basically to be able to spew their own personal opinions, objective reasoning, whatever you want to call it, right? It's, damn it, we can't control the narrative anymore. That's what it really comes down to, is the propagandists can't control the narrative anymore. Before the internet age, they could, because they took control of all of the media outlets, whether it was newspapers, television, radio. The propagandists knew that all they had to do was buy out, destroy, be anti-competitive, use monopolization, use whatever tools or power at their disposal that comes from the belief in government and central planning to eliminate the potential for truth coming to light. But in the internet age, where everybody has the ability to put forth and present their own ideas, their own preferences, their own ideology, their own reasoning, their own logic, well, yeah, the gig's up. We're in that transitional time, so it's hard for people to recognize that now. Well, for people that don't truly understand what's going on. But people such as myself, I understand what's going on. I think Anna Maria probably does, but she's still trying to function in that fucking little sphere, that bubble that represents central planners. They don't know how to think outside that little fucking, well, I guess a box isn't round, but you know what I mean. They just don't know how. Like, damn it! We should be able to control this. But, as you'll see, whether it was, the media is, even in the U.S. that has some of the biggest media outlets on the planet. Like places like CNN and Fox, MSNBC. There are people with just private YouTube channels, right? Think about it. A person with just a private YouTube channel now has more reach, more influence, a bigger sphere of influence than a lot of the establishment media outlets that have sunk billions of dollars into that fucking model, right? That business model. Now Joe Blow can come, people like myself can come along with minimal expenditure and costs and overhead and compete with them, go toe to toe, match them intellect for intellect, narrative for narrative, and these fucking assholes hate the fact. That's the thing. That's what most people, at least, if there's one thing you should always understand, whether you want to agree with what I say or not, is losers hate competitors. That's really what it comes down to. Losers hate competitors because once they're losing, they realize there's people that are better at doing what they do. Or there are people that will offer truths in reality when they're offering bullshit and propaganda. They get mad that the people choose, when people choose that truth and reality, it's like, oh no, but we spent so much time and effort to create this propaganda. Well, hey, sorry, sucks to be you, losers. You know, I've lost a few times in my life. Some of those losing experiences were actually learning experiences at the same time. But central planners, narrative makers, opinion formers, they don't look at it that way. Because there's nothing they can learn from that because they want to function inside their own paradigm. So it's like, oh, I can't step outside of my box. Well, I guess it sucks to be you. But, you know, humanity, the advancement of humans, our intellect, our capacities, our knowledge, it's going to happen in spite of your disdain and hatred for that happening. Sorry, Anna Maria. Yeah. And CBC, and you know, Anna Maria, the reason why she puts that forth, because they know that they're next, that they are on the chopping block. She knows that when she's getting to be, she's an older woman. I know she wants to be protected and comforted in her old age. She wants to rely on being able to steal from the masses, even when she's done her propagandist narratives and her job. But I'm sure she's recognizing that it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not as long as people such as myself exist. We won't allow your central planet narrative to be the dominant narrative. We're going to fight you tooth and nail every chance we get. And because, for the most part, people that genuinely embrace freedom and liberty, that are willing to break away from the shackles that prevents them from flourishing. People like us, we will beat you at every stage, at every game you challenge us, because we're natural winners. We know the proper formula. We don't have to use trickery. We don't have to use mysticism or bullshit. We know what it means and what it is to be a winner. Without any of that, well, you guys lose the power of the central planners, the power of stealing from people to pay for your job. That means you're going to have to, at some point in time, you better recognize, you're going to have to function in the private realm. Because government, central planning, the ability to steal from the masses in the information age is going to continue to decline. The fact that you don't recognize and realize that, that's your own fucking problem. You know, that's in your own mind. Deal with it. Maybe start listening or talking to people that understand these things, such as myself. But if you scroll down, it was a 24-minute and 3-second audio that's attached to this because it's the current, so it's CBC radio. But listen to this underneath, a small short paragraph. The cuts in news media jobs and circulation are dominating the news this week. If a business model isn't working anymore, should we use public subsidies to save papers? We convene a panel to discuss how traditional journalism can survive. So even right there, if a business model, listen to this sentence and break it down. If a business model isn't working anymore, should we use public subsidies to save papers? Just, once again, destroying and distorting the English language as a means to propagate their fucking bullshit narrative and propaganda. But if a business model isn't working anymore, should we? What they're saying is, should we be able to steal from the masses to continue the entrenched establishment media in our geographical landmass? Should we ramp up our ability to steal, right? I mean, come on. No. Now, that's the thing about living in the free market and people such as myself, why it takes such courage and conviction to do so is I don't have a super special, magical safety net that I can call on at any time. To function in the private sector, in the real world, outside of the statism ideology, means you have to be held accountable for everything you do, be responsible for everything you do, and be willing to accept the consequences of any negative aspects of your business model. That's what it means. So, think about it. Someone that goes into a private sector business that don't have any of this protectionism or the will or the ability to steal from others to pay for your mistakes, think of how strong you got to be to want to function in that particular environment. Strong. But to work for governments or crony corporatists or the media or propagandists that are basically, their wages are paid for by stealing from others, they just figure, well, even if we're doing shit jobs and we really suck at what we do, well, all we really need is not that we got to get better and to come more closely aligned to truth, reason, and logic. No, we just got to figure, should we be able to steal more people? Steal more money or resources from the people? What the fuck, Anna Maria? Jesus. Man. I could take, and I know you make good money. I fucking know you make good money. But 10 of you, with 10 of your incomes, I'll still choose to be me. Always. Anytime, every day. I would never want to function with your little puny little mind, your cowardice, your evil and sadistic nature, whether it's through ignorance or willing, mindful acceptance of that ideology. I don't care how you function in that little realm. I don't ever want to be there. I will never be there. I don't want anyone to ever want to go where you're at. You're just, yeah. That's what you deserve. You're like a tick, a flea, a scratch, or an itch or something. Just go away. Just go away. You have no real value other than keeping your little mindless minions indoctrinated. But you're just hurting them. You're just hindering their progress. You're hampering their intellectual prowess. That's all you're doing. Are you proud of that, Anna Maria? Well, you better be. Because it's all you got. That's all you have. Sucks to be you. Winner, loser. Watch it all play out. Watch it all unfold. I don't have to use force, violence, coercion, or theft. The people that want to understand, accept, and embrace the philosophy, the principles of liberty, they don't have to. I don't have to pound it in their head. I don't have to steal from them. I don't have to force them to believe it. They'll accept and embrace it on their own. It's the difference between being honest, realist, objective, logically consistent, and being a propagandist. You're on the wrong side of the fence. Sucks to be you. Glad I'm not you. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.